Good morning. It is Thursday, April 18th, and this is Michigan Mornings from Ave Maria Radio and the Ave Maria Radio app. I'm Matthew Handley. Coming up, I've got highlights from Mayor Mike Duggan's State of the City address. But first, your local weather and this news. The Justice Department is paying over $100 million to the victims of Larry Nassar. The Wall Street Journal reports the department agreed to make the payment as compensation for the FBI's mishandling of the investigation into the former USA Gymnastics team doctor. In 2018, Nassar was sentenced to what amounts to be life in prison on sexual assault and child pornography charges. Over 500 women were abused by Nassar during his time working for USA Gymnastics and Michigan State University. Democrats have regained their two-seat majority in the state house with Tuesday's special elections in Wayne and Macomb counties. Mai Zhang won the 13th district over Republican Ronald Singer, and Peter Herzberg won the 25th district over Republican Josh Powell. The seats have been vacant since November's election, when the previous representatives won mayoral races. Archbishop Allen Vigneron presided over a mass and a blessing of the new chapel at St. Mary Catholic School in Mount Clemens on Tuesday. The new Our Lady of the Annunciation Chapel was built out of the school's former gym and uses items from other churches from around the area. The wooden pews came from the Chapel of the Little Flower next to the old St. Patrick's High School. The restored baldacchino came from St. Stanislaus Kostka in Wyandotte, and the altar came from the school's home parish of St. Peter's. The new chapel was built on the school's campus, so students wouldn't have to walk along Gratiot Avenue to attend school masses at St. Peter. Bedrock is announcing additional tenants for the Hudson's building site in Detroit. Addition will open the city's first five-star hotel there. The tower will also include 97 high-rise condos above the hotel floors. The condos and hotel are expected to be available starting in 2027. General Motors announced they will be moving their headquarters to the building as well. A billboard along Interstate 96 near Lowell for Buc-ee's is getting attention. The sign for the Texas-based travel center chain has the logo and says 444 miles, indicating their nearest location to West Michigan in Richmond, Kentucky.
We have identified certain locations, including in Michigan, where we believe those folks going south will appreciate getting notified 400, 500 miles in advance.
That's Buc-ee's General Counsel Jeff Nadalo. It is important to note that Interstate 96 serves drivers between Detroit and Muskegon and does not leave the state of Michigan. And a traffic report for you. The Michigan Department of Transportation says 2 lanes of I-94 will be closed at 9 a.m. today to repair concrete. The closure will be between Hagerty and Belleville roads, and it should be done by 5 p.m. tomorrow, according to MDOT. This is Michigan Mornings from Ave Maria Radio. Your local weather is next. Now this.
Teresa Tomeo.
Every time I go to Mass and see my husband serving on the altar as a deacon, it hits me how, with God, all things are possible. I mean, there is no way that we should be still married, number one, based on all the problems we had. But number two, the fact that I'm in Catholic media and my husband is a deacon is simply a testimony to the power of God and the teachings of the church that saved our marriage and, more importantly, our souls.
The severe weather has moved out of the Metro Detroit area and is leaving us with cloudy skies today. Highs will be in the upper 60s. Tonight, the rain returns with a light chance of thunderstorms. Lows will dip to around 50. Tomorrow will be partly cloudy with some wind gusts. Highs around 60. Saturday will be breezy and partly cloudy with temperatures in the mid-50s. And Sunday will start partly cloudy, then clearing with highs in the upper 50s. The severe weather has moved out of the Saginaw Valley and is leaving us with cloudy skies today. Highs will be in the lower 60s. The rain returns tonight as temperatures drop to the upper 40s. Tomorrow it will be breezy but mostly sunny. Highs will be in the mid-50s. Saturday will also be breezy with cloudy skies, temperatures around 50. And Sunday looks to clear out with mostly sunny skies and highs in the mid-50s. Welcome back to Michigan Mornings. I'm Matthew Handley. At Dexter Avenue Baptist Church on the city's west side last night, Mayor Mike Duggan gave his annual State of the City address. He promised that Detroit would reintroduce itself to America during next week's NFL Draft.
300,000 visitors, 50 million people watching on TV. We got a chance to introduce ourselves again to America. And when we do, we hope to be just like the Lions and introduce America to a very different Detroit than they expected.
Duggan touted the city's economic recovery since he took office amidst bankruptcy in 2013. He cited businesses returning to Detroit and the city receiving an investment-grade credit by Moody's last month. As part of the economic recovery, Duggan discussed the city's progress in rehabbing and demolishing abandoned buildings that, since the city's bankruptcy, had become tourist attractions in and of themselves.
And, of course, they'll want to see the abandoned Packard plant that stopped making cars in 1956. But more than 60 years later, it's now being demolished, and we're saving the front as part of an historic site, but it will be a new auto manufacturing site. They won't even be able to look at the Packard plant anymore. So this year, when they show up, we're officially declaring Detroit's ruined porn tours canceled.
He also said he is one of the few Democrats that likes to cut taxes, citing $1 million tax cuts for Detroiters. As for security, he pointed to studies showing the city's leading the nation in reducing the amount of carjackings and violent crime.
And as our finances improved, we didn't defund the police, right? We made a 10-year commitment because I sat in those living rooms and I listened to the fear in the face of so many people. We had the highest homicide rate in America. We were nationally known as Carjack City, 782 carjackings in 1 year. But what we said is, we're going to do what our citizens want. We invest in our police with $10,000 pay raises, which our officers deserve. We put 230 more cops on the street. We invested in technology, creating one of America's most advanced real-time crime centers.
Going forward, Duggan said he will continue to fight Lansing for a land value tax that would lower property taxes on homeowners, and that he would continue to crack down on illegal dumping, scrap yards, rehabbing neighborhoods, and building affordable housing. St. IRENAEUS says the slip of a vine planted in the ground bears fruit at the proper time. The grain of wheat falls into the ground and decays, only to be raised up again and multiplied by the Spirit of God who sustains all things. The wisdom of God places these things at the service of man, and when they receive God's word, they become the Eucharist, which is the body and blood of Christ. I'm Matthew Handley. That does it for this edition of Michigan Mornings. Lord willing, I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.